So guys, listen, I know that when you start photography, taking pictures is a lot of fun, but the moment you open Lightroom, your mind just explodes. And I get it. I've been there. My name is Josh McMullen. I have been taking photos and editing photos and delivering products to clients for about 8 years now. So I do have a little bit of experience under my belt. And one of those programs that I use when it comes to editing photos is Adobe Lightroom. Now, when you open Adobe Lightroom, the same thing probably happens to you that happened to me when I first started. Your heart just starts racing. Your stomach sinks and you get very uncomfortable the moment that Adobe Lightroom icon pops up on the screen. Probably also like me, the moment you opened it, you said, nope, and you closed it. It's too complicated. There's too much going on. There's too steep of a learning curve or something like that going on. And I get it. I understand that. But today I'm going to show you my very simple Lightroom procedure. Everything that I do from inserting my photos into Lightroom, importing them, doing a little bit of editing, and then exporting. This video is going to be pretty quick. I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of about editing basics or fundamentals. I will edit a couple photos just to show you how it's done, where the sliders are in Lightroom, and then how to export. But this video is going to be more about how does Lightroom operate so that you can wrap your brain around what's going on the moment that you open it to the moment that you deliver a product to a client. I'm going to show you how I organize my files. I'm going to show you what I let Lightroom do and what I don't let Lightroom do, and how I keep everything as simple as possible for my process, because that's what I want. I need to be able to take photos. I need to quickly have a turnaround on those photos and then deliver them out as fast as humanly possible. I don't want a lot of complex things. I don't want Lightroom to be overcomplicated for me. It's just merely a quick stepping stone between me taking the photos and me giving them to the client. So let's dive into it. Let me tell you a little bit about Lightroom, what's going on with it, how it works, and then we will jump into what to do. So to get Lightroom, you have to go to first Adobe online. So adobe.com, Creative Cloud Plans. If I do that, I'm just going to go up here. I'm just going to type in Adobe Lightroom. I didn't even spell it right. Good thing. And then I'm going to click that first link, the sponsored, right? It's going to take you right to this page. It's going to say, make your photos yours, blah, blah, blah. Free trial. If you've never used Lightroom and you want to use a free trial, I highly recommend it. Lightroom does cost a subscription, and we'll go into that now. You click Buy Now, and it says for individuals. So these are all the plans available that Adobe Lightroom is in if you are an individual that wants to get Adobe Lightroom. Some of us, though, like myself, I'm not a student. I'm 40 years old. I'm not in college anymore. I have to pay for Lightroom, just like everyone else. So there's two programs that I want you to look at here, two options here that I want you to look at. The first one is the photography program. This is going to include Lightroom, Lightroom Classic, and Photoshop. So those three programs are included in this price for $20 a month. The other one is just Lightroom, and that is going to be $11.99 a month. That's a little bit cheaper, right? Here's where a lot of people get confused. There are actually two versions of Lightroom. There's Lightroom, and then there's Lightroom Classic. Those are these two right here. You can see them shown right here. The difference between them is Lightroom Classic is what Adobe originally created for photographers. That's their meat and potatoes Lightroom product. In the last couple of years, Adobe has wanted to update the back end of Lightroom. And to do that, they had to create a whole nother program. So this new program is just called Lightroom now. That's what the new one is. The old one is Lightroom Classic. Now, when I say new and old, I don't mean that the old one is in any way inferior to the new one. In fact, Lightroom Classic is what we're going to be using today. I use Lightroom Classic because Lightroom Classic is the version of Lightroom that Adobe is going to update first. It's also going to be the version of Lightroom that allows things like plugins. So when I want Lightroom to communicate with some sort of online application or another program on my computer, as a power user of Lightroom, as somebody that knows Lightroom, has used it for a long time, and wants these other kind of plugins, I have to use Lightroom Classic. Now, the new version of Lightroom is very online focused. Everything in this new version of Lightroom is updated to be more streamlined if you want to edit between your computer, your phone, your tablet. You want to get things online faster. It's in no way better or worse than the other Lightroom. It's just slightly different. There's two slight differences between the two. It's not huge. I recommend Lightroom Classic, but a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about here today is also going to apply to the newer version of Lightroom, just called Lightroom. So whichever one you download, go ahead and pick your poison here. If you do want Lightroom Classic, though, you do have to pay for this more expensive one, this $20 version, as opposed to if you just want the newer version of Lightroom, not Classic, not Photoshop, you can then pay just $11.99 a month, which is cheaper, and you can use that. What I go through today, my operational procedure for how I get photos imported to Lightroom, how I organize my photos, how I export them, is going to be the same between the two. So don't worry. Pick whichever one you want to download, sign up, download it, try the free trial. I would recommend that. And then we'll jump into it. So this is what happens when I get on my computer and I want to start editing photos. So now you can just see my computer desktop. Let's start from scratch here. Okay, I have no icons on my desktop. It's very empty, which is what I like. I like having my desktop as empty as possible. So not a lot on here. So I've downloaded Lightroom now. Now, before I go into Lightroom, before I start editing photos, before your heart starts racing and we get into it, trust me, I am making this as easy as possible for you. There's a lot of people that have different procedures for how they use Lightroom. I am of the mindset that I don't want Lightroom to organize my photos. I want to do it myself. That way I have the two separate. I know where all my photos are all the time inside my computer. Wherever I want to save them, I save them to a specific place. I organize them a specific way. And then wherever I want to export them to, they also go into a folder on my computer, and I save those, and I can organize those all in Windows Explorer. So I open up Windows Explorer. Here's everything that I have plugged in my computer. I've got my hard drive, my Windows hard drive. That's where Lightroom is going to be installed. I've got two external drives, one for video, one for photos. And then I have my memory card. So I'm going to take my memory card, and I'm going to plug it in the computer. You're going to see that disappear here for a second. I'm going to plug my memory card back in my computer. Boom, just like that. Here in a second, you're going to see it pop up. I have it so that my computer automatically pops up my memory card. So here's my memory card. Here's everything that I took on my photos today. So my photos, these were actually taken 2 days ago with the church. So here are all my photos from my memory card. You should know how to get to these if you know how to operate a computer real basically. But if you don't, this is how you get to it. You open up Windows Explorer, you click on your memory card. Mine's called SDXC. I'm a Sony user, so I have to go to DCIM and into this folder, and now I can see all of my raw photos right here. Everything I took. Not a whole lot, actually. I was only there. This photo shoot only lasted about 30 minutes, so I didn't get a whole lot. I just need to get some photos out to, I shoot for my church every Sunday, so I'm getting these photos out to them. So what I'm going to do is now I want to save these raw photos, every single one of them. I'm not culling them, I'm not going through them, picking good ones right now. I'm just taking these from the memory card, and I'm going to put them onto my computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these. Just going to hit copy here. Now I have them copied, ready to go wherever I want them to go. Now, I'm going to go back to my computer, and now I'm going to the place that I save all my photos on my computer. It's called Media Drive here. Here you can see all the folders of every shoot I've done for a little while, over the last year or so, and this isn't all of them. Let me go into my View Church folder. If I open this is all my shoots for View Church this year. It's all labeled 2024, 2025. Here. So you can see this is how I organize my photos. I like to keep each shoot in its own folder, and I organize them by 2024 and 2025. I start by labeling each one of these. As you can see here, I start it with a year, who I'm shooting for, and then the month and day. That way I can find things easily. Here's the most recent one I did. Let me zoom out, get these back to list view. So the most recent one I did, 2025 View, 8/31, and then I put a little description if it was something special. This one was an outdoor shoot. So I know that this was shot in the year 2025 on August 31st. Perfect. Now, I want to go ahead and now create a new folder for these to go into. So let's sort out the view here, list. Okay, let's make a new folder. So I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to new folder 2025-view. What was the date on, what is the 9th, 8th, 7th, 7th? So October 7th. I just do 9/7. Keep it super simple, right? And now I'm just going to open this folder. It's going to be empty, and I'm going to paste these photos that I took from my memory card. So now they're going to transfer over to my computer. It's going to take just a minute. I'm sorry for you guys that I'm live streaming to. You're going to have to watch this upload right here for just a second. But that's okay. While these transfer over from the memory card to my computer, so I can get ready to use them in the Lightroom, I will go over some other things. So let's look at this. Let's look at my last shoot, 2025, August 31st, outdoor. Let's go into it. Look, I have my raw files here. These are after they've been culled and edited. These are all the raw files. I can always come back to this folder anytime I want, upload these photos to Lightroom, and re-edit them like nothing ever happened. Lightroom loves to see the raw files. It'll be able to edit them just like I did on day one. But here you can see my export folder. These are my finished ones. That's why it's called finals. If we open this one, these are not raw files. These are now JPEGs because these are the finished photos after I edited them that first time that I delivered to my client. So these are smaller file sizes. If we go to properties here, you can see that one JPEG is about 1.59 megabytes. I save them at 90% quality. Whereas the same picture, raw, is 40 megabytes. That's huge. So I save all my raw photos. I don't delete them, but you can delete them after you're done editing if you're really confident that you never want to edit them again. You're happy with the results. So that's why I edit in JPEG. I'm sorry, I export in JPEG, I edit in RAW. So let's go back now and see what's going on with the transfer. Almost done. Pretty quick, painless, easy. As you can see, this folder that I'm importing them into is slowly filling up. Photos are going in here. They're slowly being added to my computer. Here's another one, another one, another one. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get these imported. They should be almost done now. A couple more seconds. And then we'll do the dreaded opening of Lightroom. All right, they're all in this folder. I know where they're at. I'm actually going to keep this folder open for a second. I'm just going to minimize it so I have access to these photos real quick. Even better, I can select them all, have them ready to go. All right. So now let's do the very scary thing. I'm going to click the Adobe Lightroom Classic icon. Everybody calm down, relax. This is going to be okay. All right, so this is Adobe Lightroom, right, when you open it, okay? It looks complicated, it looks confusing, but I promise you it's not. It's not as confusing as you think. Ignore all this stuff on the side. When you first open Adobe Lightroom, it's going to tell you that it has a catalog it wants to set up. Just use the default settings. The only thing I'll say about the catalog is like Adobe's brain. It wants you to know where to put this file for Adobe's brain. Don't change any settings on this unless you know what you're doing. This file needs to be saved on the same drive that you're using Adobe Lightroom on. So that's what the default's going to be. Just let it save it there. Catalog, like I said, is Adobe's brain. It's how Adobe thinks, so it knows where your files are. Every single time you move folders or change photos or edit them or put them in a different location on your computer, Lightroom remembers that and it saves that information, its little brain, to the catalog. It'll ask you every single time you want to close Adobe Lightroom if you want to back up your catalog. You always say yes. Hey, I want Adobe to remember every single time I open it back up where all my photos are that I edited, right? Even though I'm not organizing them in Lightroom, I still want Lightroom to remember everything that I've done previously. Just say yes. And then don't screw with the catalog again. Screwing with catalogs is a way more advanced video. We'll deal with that later. Okay, the other things that we're going to look at, we're going to start right here on the left-hand side. This is the most important. This is going to be where you have your navigator. So this is how you're going to see where your photos are or what album you're in. So what I do is I edit all of my photos through my album. So let's close catalog. These little arrows right here will expand or close each tab. So I have 3 tabs here, 4 tabs, publish services as well. I got catalog, folders, collections, and publish services. I only work in collections. Collections means that I am just telling Lightroom to open a little album. An album means that this is me telling Lightroom I want to edit this certain group of pictures, And I don't want it to screw with where these pictures are. I've saved them where I want them on my computer already. I created this cool little folder, 2025 View 9 7, I think it was, that we saved it in. Now, I don't want Adobe Lightroom to move these folders around anywhere. So I don't edit under folders. I'm not going to use that either. I'm only going to edit under collections. Under collections, you will see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums right now. When I edit photos, I will just use one of these albums that I have, and I will delete the last photos from the album, and I will drop in new photos that I want to edit. When I delete photos from an album, 99% of the time, unless I tell it specifically, Lightroom is not going to delete these photos from my folders. It's not doing anything to the original photos. Those photos are all staying where I put them. They're not getting deleted off my computer unless I specifically tell Lightroom, delete the photos out of this album and delete them from my computer. But that's a very specific thing I have to tell it to do. If I just hit delete, those photos are just taken out of Lightroom. Nothing else happens to them. So I'm not worried about them getting deleted off my computer. So that's why I just edit in these. So view edits is usually a little album I created. You go up here to create an album. You go up here to this little plus sign right here. You click down and you say create collection. So they used to be called albums. They're called collections now. I'm sorry. You'll have to bear with me on old school terms. So a collection. So I'm going to tell it to create a collection. I call this collection whatever I want. View. Let's do live stream photos. Boom. So I'm not putting it inside another collection set. This is just, it's one that I want. Right here is important, sync with Lightroom. What this means is that when you add these photos to Lightroom now, whatever you import into this collection, Lightroom is then gonna take a copy of these and it's gonna upload it to the cloud. It's going to tell itself that, hey, this person might want to edit these photos on their phone later or on a tablet. So let's go ahead and upload it to the cloud so that when they load Lightroom onto their phone or tablet, when they open it up, they'll be able to instantly see these photos and edit them there. This is your choice on what you want to do. Some of my collections, I say, yes, I want Lightroom to do this on. Some of them I say no. Because this is one that I'm just going to use for this demonstration, I'm not going to sync it with the cloud. If this was something that I then wanted to maybe edit on a different computer over at another location, I have a studio at a different location, and I want to upload them here, and I want to access them over there, I would say yes, sync with Lightroom. That'd be awesome, because then when I open Lightroom anywhere else, my phone, tablet, different location, they'll all be there. Right now, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say no. Create. So I view live stream photos, and now this is empty. I have a open collection ready to go, ready to edit these photos in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my file explorer where I had these photos. They're all right here. And I'm just going to select, I'm going to Control A, and I'm going to just drag them right into Lightroom. You'll see that Lightroom now will take me to a new screen. So Lightroom is saying, okay, now I see that you want to bring these photos into me to edit them. What do you want me to do with them? So the only thing that matters right now that I have they're all checked. They all are automatically checked. I am not culling my photos now. I'm not going to look through and say, oh, this is a bad one, that was a good one, let's keep these ones. I'll do that in a minute. Right now, the only thing that I care about is over here on the right-hand side, this side over here. A couple things I want. I want to build smart previews. I'll get into that in a second. I don't want to import selected duplicates in case for some reason I copied the card twice or something like that. I want Lightroom to look at every single photo and be like, hey, you have two of the identical ones here. Do you want me to import both of these? I don't want it to do that. It's asking me that. The only thing I'm going to check is add to collection because I created a collection that I want to drop these into because that makes it easier for my simple mind to edit. So I'm going to go to add to collection. I'm going to come down here to view live stream photos. That's the collection I created. And I'm going to select that. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the very bottom right, and I'm going to click this import button. And Lightroom is going to start doing its thing. Click import, and right here is where I can watch the progress on this, up here in this top left side. 2 operations in progress. Lightroom's telling me it's doing 2 different things at a time. What is it doing? What Lightroom is doing is it's going and finding those files, and it's importing them into Lightroom. So that's the import process. The second bar down here is it's building previews. Now, what is building previews? Building previews is where you're telling Lightroom that when you're looking at your photos in Lightroom, you don't want it to be going into the computer, pulling that photo up, all 40 megabytes of that photo, trying to bring it into Lightroom and show me what it is, right? It's like having to run to a different room to grab the whole painting and bring it in here and show it to me every single time I click a different photo. When you say you want to use previews, what Lightroom is doing is it's taking a quick little picture of that photo. It's like going into the other room, the guy takes a photo of all the paintings you have in there and then just brings the whole camera back to you and is like, oh, look through them real quick, tell me what you want to work on. So it makes editing faster, especially if you have a low-end PC. My PC is high-end. It's very quick, but I still use previews because when I'm scrolling through photos, I don't want to have any delay. I want to be able to get through my photos quickly. And then if I want to see the full resolution of a photo, when I double click it and zoom in, Adobe Lightroom will then go and pull it from the other room and show me the whole resolution. It's just a way to make your photos faster when it comes to editing. That's why I use smart previews, even though I have a fast computer. Just always use smart previews. Makes it easy. Still going as well. I just for you guys' information, I do stream on Kick and YouTube. This is a brand new channel. I'm going to be going over everything having to do with photo editing, photos, do a little bit of gaming here and there. You guys are free to jump in and join me. I'm going to try and stream once a week. Every single time I do photos for this one client, I'm going to try and stream it so that you guys can go through the photo editing process with me, and you could see all the nitty-gritty details of how to edit photos. It's a lot of fun, actually. And I've been doing it for so long that I enjoy doing it. I enjoy showing you guys. So now we can see up here in the top left, Adobe Lightroom is done importing, and it's done using previews. I can now start working on my photos. Everybody relax. This is easier than you think. I do my photos in stages. I go through all of the photos and I do one thing. Then I go through all the photos and I do another thing. And then I do a final pass of the photos and go through the last thing. I don't organize all of my photos in here. You can see I only have, what, 8 collections right here? And it's not all of the photos that I own. My photo drive is filled with tens of thousands of photos. But you see here, I have 44, 251, 5, 48, and 120. These are just the last couple things I worked on over the last month or so. Actually, like last 2 weeks. So I'm not organizing my photos with Lightroom. You can if you want to. That's a different video for a whole different topic. If you want Adobe Lightroom every single time you open it to show you every single photo that you've ever taken, you can do that. I like to keep things simple. My little brain cannot operate on such a high level. That's not how I work. So this process that I'm using is much simpler, much faster for me. There will be other people that use different systems, and those systems are just as good if that's the way you like to work. If that's the way you like to work, feel free to follow those ones as well. Try them both out. See which one works for your brain better. This is the one that I like to use. This is the one I teach to new photographers, so it keeps it simple. But if you guys ever do want a more advanced video, let me know, and I can do that too. Lucky Mario. Nice talking to you, brother. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I now have all my photos. So right now, this is the important part. This is the most important part of Lightroom, I think. You right now are looking at all these photos in what's called the library. You can see that right here. You can also see that there's other tabs: the Develop tab, the Map, the Book, the Slideshow, the Print, and the Web. I don't use any of these except for Library and Develop. Those are the only two I use. If I want to look at my photos in the library, I click this. If I want to look at my photos in Develop, I click this one. And you'll see that Lightroom will then pull it up. Okay, it's just taking a second, but that's fine. Right now, the first thing I do is I go into Library. This is where I'm going to cull my photos real quick. I'm going to double-click this first one. And now, using my keyboard, using my right hand, I can scroll through these photos using the right and left keyboard control. Right, left, right, left, right, left, back and forth. So you won't see me doing this with my mouse because that takes too much time. If you are going to learn Adobe Lightroom, here's one of the most important tips I can give you first. Learn to use the keyboard shortcuts as fast as possible, because that is what's going to be the difference between you taking 1 hour to edit 600 photos and you taking 19 hours to edit 600 photos. The quicker you learn the keyboard shortcuts, the faster your editing process is going to be. So I will tell you the keyboard shortcuts as I use them so that you can start to use them as well. So now I can go, I'm going to scroll through each one of these photos one at a time, and I'm going to be fast. All I care about is this a photo that I think can be good and that I can edit and I can deliver to a client, or is it not? Is it crap or is it good? That's all I care about. So I'm going to look at each of these groups of photos. You can see I took 4 photos of this lady and her baby before I started taking photos of something else. So I'm just going to scroll through these 4 photos, and I'm going to pick one of them. If there's one that's good, I'm going to pick one of them that I like, and I'm going to press the P key on my keyboard. That means pick. That means I'm just giving this photo a little flag, a little thumbs up saying, hey, this is one that might work. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look great, but this photo might work. And that's all I'm doing. I am only pressing P as I go through these photos on photos that I like. If I accidentally select one that I don't like, or I pick one and then 2 photos later, there's an even better one, and so I want to get rid of the other one, I'll use the keyboard shortcut U to unselect. That means I want to take that flag off of it. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that flag on there. Go ahead and remove it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll through here. My right hand is going to be on my left and right keys on my keyboard. My other hand is going to be resting on the P and the U key. So I'm just going to go through here. Okay, so let's go here. Eyes are closed here. Eyes are open. She's pointing. She's kind of smiling. Eyes, there you go. Eye open and smiling. Got a picture of a baby. I like that one. This button down here that looks like a grid system, this is important. This is how you get back to looking at your photos in a grid as opposed to just looking at each individual photo. When I go down here and I double click a photo, it's now going to take me to the next one over where I want to just look at a single photo. I could switch back and forth by clicking either one of these at any time. I'm looking at each individual photo right now because I'm culling my photos. That's what it means when you are looking through your photos and you're getting rid of bad ones, you're picking good ones to edit. I'm culling my photos. I said I like this last one. I'm going to press P, and you're going to see right here on the screen, flag as pick comes up. I know that this photo has a flag on it now because this flag appears right here. And on the photo timeline down here where I can see upcoming photos I'm going to scroll through and previous ones, I can see that there's a flag on this photo. So that means I want to use it, okay? So now I see there's a flag on this one. I keep going. Now I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to go pretty quick. I'm going to talk out loud, give you my thought process as I do this, but I want to get through this pretty quick. I want to kind of edit these photos as fast as possible because when you're newer to Lightroom and it takes 9 hours to edit photos, you dread editing photos. I promise you guys, once you get comfortable with Lightroom, you actually start to enjoy it. I like editing photos now. It's fun because I have a system down. The system is quick, simple, and easy to use. All right, let's do it. Right, photo's a little dark. That's okay. We shoot in RAW. I can up the exposure. So now I'm going through these photos, right? This one's a little dark. Right over here is where you will start being able to edit some of the properties of your photos. I'm still in library mode because I'm just culling through my photos. So the editing options over here are very simple. I'm able to see file information. I'm able to turn up or down the brightness real quick right here if I need to. But that's it. That's all you can really do. It's not until I click this develop tab that I'm ready to start editing photos that you see everything over here changes. Whatever tab you're on here will change what's happening over here on this side. Will change the information that Lightroom gives you, the options you have. Over here isn't really going to change a whole lot. It's going to stay pretty simple. I can still see my collections. I now have a couple different options over here because I'm in develop. But when I go back to Lightroom, the options don't really change. See, I can still see my collection. I can still navigate around if I want to over here. The big thing that changes over here on this side, I think it's called the developer pane or something like that. So I'm in library mode right now. I just want to see real quick. Let me brighten this, see if this is a good photo. He's got a weird face on him. I'm not going to do that. Let's keep going. Kind of like her talking here. Let's give him some options. Ooh, is she looking right? She's looking right past me. Okay, I'll take that. Oh, it's smiling. That's good. See, and I'm just pressing spacebar with the part of my hand near my pinky because these 2 fingers are resting on P and U. My hand naturally comes over the spacebar. So while these fingers rest on P and Q or P and U, I can just tap spacebar with this lower part of my hand. Tap it once, you zoom in. Tap it again, you'll zoom out. So that's what I'm doing here. Look. Oh, perfect smile. I love it. Now I want a big open shot, get a little shot. You can't see it here, but I have the people here in the crowd. I'll brighten them. All right, so I've gone through, and you can see down here in the timeline, down here in this part of timeline, all my photos. And you can see there are flagged ones. Flag, 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 flag. And there's some that are unflagged. Now I want to go ahead and get rid of these unflagged ones. I've told Lightroom, hey, I don't want to even look at these other ones anymore. So I know that these photos are bad. So now I'm going to go into the grid view. I can see all my photos. I see some are flagged, some are not flagged. And I'm going to tell Lightroom right here, hey, only show me the photos that are unflagged, because I'm going to delete those ones. I don't want to delete these ones that are flagged. I just want to get rid of the ones I didn't like. So down here, there's filters right here. There's the flag filters. I want Lightroom to show me all the ones that are flagged. I want Lightroom to show me all the ones that haven't got a flag at all, and these are all the rejected flags. I don't reject photos. If the photo is unflagged, that means I don't want it. I don't need to tell Lightroom that I'm rejecting it. I don't care. I'm using the easiest system possible here. All I care about is ones that I want. Everything that's unflagged or rejected are just going to get deleted. So I don't even bother rejecting things, because that's another button I have to press on the keyboard. All I care about is the flagged ones. If I didn't flag it, that means I don't want it. I don't care about the rejection flag. So down here, I'm going to click this unflagged button right here in the middle, and Lightroom is now going to show me only the unflagged photos. You got to click it twice. I now glance over these and make sure that none of these photos here have a flag on it. That's how I know that I clicked the button twice. I know that Lightroom is only showing me the unflagged photos. Now I'm going to click this top one. I'm going to select all by clicking Control A on my keyboard. Now they're all selected. You can also come here and click Shift, hold Shift, and click this last one. It'll select them all. You can also right-click and say Select All if you want. Remember, using keyboard shortcuts is faster. Control A. Control A, I now have all these unflagged photos selected. Now I can press Backspace if I just want to delete them out of Lightroom and keep the photos in that folder that I saved them on a computer. Or I could do a little hidden trick. I'm going to tell Lightroom, hey, I don't like these photos at all. I'm never coming back to edit these photos, ever. It might be 2 years from now. Don't care about these photos. Don't ever want to see them again. I actually want to delete these out of Lightroom, and Lightroom, go ahead into my computer and delete these photos to the computer as well. I'm not saving 900 photos every shoot. It's the way I do things. Maybe for a wedding, I might not delete every photo. I might delete them out of Lightroom, but not delete them off my computer, because maybe the client might come back to me later and say, hey, let me get some of the other photos. Maybe I want more of this sequence, and I can go back through and look through them. This client does not do that, so I don't need to worry about that. So what I'm going to do to delete all of these photos out of Lightroom and off my computer, Lightroom makes it difficult because it wants to make sure that you want to do it. You have to do Control, Alt, Shift, Backspace. 4 different buttons you got to hold down at a time. Lightroom wants to know for sure that you are trying to delete all of these photos off your computer, because once they're deleted off the computer, they're gone. I mean, they're still on your memory card until you delete them off your memory card. But once you delete them off the computer, they're gone. You have to re-import them off the memory card, and then if you wipe your memory card to format that, they're gone forever, right? Control, Alt, Shift, Backspace. Remove and move photos to recycle bin. Lightroom up here is telling me that it is removing them from Lightroom, and it is moving these photos to the recycle bin on my computer. These photos are all gone. Now, your heart might drop here for a second the first time you do this. Oh man, all my photos are gone. Oh no, it's okay. Remember, you told Lightroom down here to only show you unflagged photos. That's still in effect. Lightroom is still only showing you unflagged photos. You just deleted all those photos out of here. So of course, Lightroom is not going to show you any photos. You have to come down here and unselect this flag button right here for filters. I can unselect it from right here. Boom. Oh, here's all my flagged photos. Relief. Lightroom didn't just delete every photo that you had just gone through. Remember, you had told it down here what you wanted it to show you, and it was still doing exactly what it told you that it was going to do. Now, I have these photos that I flagged. I'm ready to start editing them. So for everyone that's watching on the live stream, you're going to see me edit these photos. For everyone that's going to get this on the stream, I'm going to cut through some of this because editing photos is a whole different topic that I will be making more videos on. And you can also watch me do that next week when I start live streaming my actual photo editing process. So I'm going to go up here to Library. Now I'm ready to start editing these. I'm going to click Develop right here. This button right here is now going to tell Lightroom I'm ready to start editing these photos. This side of Lightroom changes to give me a lot of powerful options for editing. Down here is still my timeline. Notice this stays the same between develop and library. It does that on purpose so that you can still see where you're going, where you're at in your photos, so that you can go backwards and forwards. Photos still work the same as library. I still press right and left on my keyboard, and I'm still scrolling through photos. Perfect. That's exactly, I want things to stay the same generally through each process. Now, one of the things I like to do is first I'll give Lightroom a crack at editing these themselves using auto editing. I just do that real quick just to try and get in the general ballpark of something that looks good. In order to do that, though, I have to come down here and I have to click this library grid right here so I can see them all. Because I'm in the develop pane, this is a problem that I have with Lightroom. This is one of my complaints, is the grid icon is here when you're in library. The grid icon changes to down here when you're in the develop pane. So just be aware of that. It was very confusing to me for a very long time of where to find that. This is how I get back to this view when I want to get back to it. Again, I'm going to select every photo, Control A, Control U, and it is going to auto settings updated for 38 images is what it said right down here. That means that Lightroom went ahead and went through all of these photos and auto-edited them to what it thinks that these photos should be edited to. It's not going to be great. Some of them it might get spot on. Some of them are probably going to be trash, but it gives me a general starting point, so I don't have to try and do it myself. First one, what did it do? At any time, you can hold the backwards slash key. I'm sure there's an actual proper word for it. It's right underneath your backspace key. You can press that. Oops, I wasn't under develop. Rookie mistake. So now I'm under develop. I click develop up here, press this backspace key, and I can see what the original photo was. And then when I let it go, it goes back to Lightroom's edit on it. Anytime you can do that. You can edit a photo, and then you want to see what it looked like originally, just hold that backspace key for a second, let it go, it goes back to your edited photo. So I could see that Lightroom did some changes to it. It made a little higher contrast, changed the tint on it a little bit. It's pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to start editing. So I'm going to do this all up here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring out the brightness a little bit. That's just called general exposure. I want it to be a little brighter. They like their photos a little on the brighter side, a little bit more airy. So I know that about my clients, so that's how I edit the photos for them. The tint here is a little green. I'm going to go right here to tint. I'm going to pull this a little bit towards the pink side, maybe 1 or 2 clicks. Yeah, there we go. You might not see a difference. You're trying to watch this on a phone screen or on a computer screen. It might be difficult for your eye to catch what's actually changing as I make these micro adjustments. So that's why I'm going to talk through it as I do it. I'm looking at the white here. I'm trying to make this white. I have a little bit too much pink over here now. Didn't really like that pink change. That's why I might change it back to greenish a little bit. I'm trying to balance between green and pink. That's called tint. Try and get this as balanced on white as possible. Can't get it perfect. There's a lot of different lights in this room. Right there is generally good. I like that. Maybe a little bit more contrast. Contrast is separating the brights and the darks, making the darks darker, the brights brighter. I want to add a little bit more contrast there. There's a little bit of grain in this photo, a little bit of noise. All right, these photos are pretty much done. All right. For you guys that are watching live, you watch me edit these photos. For you guys coming watching this video, YouTube VOD, I might have skipped over this for you because I don't want to waste time on that. I want to just let you learn Lightroom, right? So we are now done editing our Lightroom photos here in Lightroom. I went through the Develop tab. I went through one pass first in the Library tab, and I culled my photos. I then went one pass through all these photos that I liked. I went through and I did my major edits as far as color, lighting, which is exposure, right? And messing with finer details like noise, getting some grain out of there. Maybe I turned a couple in black and white. And then I did my third pass, which was cropping. I angled my photos so they're straight up and down. I made them the aspect ratio that I want. Watch more videos on that. If you want to post, if you post a lot of photos to Instagram, you either want 4x5 for regular posts, or you want 16:9 for reels and stories. We do mostly reels and stories for this client, so I do most of my photos in 16:9. And now the very last thing I need to do is export these photos. So I'm telling Lightroom that we have now worked on these very high detail raw photos. They're 40 megabytes each. I was able to edit all the light and the color of it because they're raw. Now I want Lightroom to smash all this information together into a much smaller sized photo that's ready to be used for Instagram Lightroom. You have to export them in JPEG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Lightroom that I'm ready to export these. I go to this library button. I have all my photos here. You can do this a couple different ways. Here's the way I do it. I click one photo, just like when I copy and paste. Control A, I select them all. I right click and I come down here to export and I click export. Now, for me, I have all my export settings for Instagram saved. I know the resolution that Instagram wants everything at. I even write it on a little card, and I slide it underneath my keyboard. Let me see if I can get this to focus on the card. Focus on the card. There we go. See? This is how I know what I save, what I export photos as for Instagram whenever I want to do Lightroom edits on something. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video, save this if you want. You can take this information straight from this card. I will show you also in the video here what I select. So I'm going to go to export so I can show you. And this is the export dialog. It looks confusing. It's really not. If you go through each tab one by one, just like taking a test, you start at question 1 and you go down, you can go ahead and get all this information. So right here in export location, where I'm going to export it to. I tell Lightroom, hey, create a new folder inside of the folder where all these photos are saved, call it finals, and put these exported photos, these smaller JPEG photos, into that folder. So that when I go through my computer 6 months from now and I want to remember where those photos were, I want to maybe play with them or post something, I can literally go into each and every one of these days that I took photos. Let's go to 2025 view 3/2. So at January, March 2nd. I can go in here. I have all my raw photos of the ones that I picked, right? I didn't save all the photos that I didn't flag, that I didn't like, that were trash. I just got rid of those, but I have all my raw photos here. And then I have my finals photo. Same exact amount of photos. They're just exported from Lightroom in the right resolution after editing. The right size, the right aspect ratios, the right cropping, everything I did in Lightroom is now saved to these ones right here. And I can go in here and I can play with these. I could save these to Instagram. I can post them. I can move them around, whatever I want. So that's what I'm telling Lightroom to do. Export to specific folder. I'm sorry. Let me click Instagram. So here's what it is for Lightroom. It's going to be grayed out because it's not going to let me edit these because it's a preset that I made. So when I click it, Lightroom's like, no, we're not going to let you screw the preset. If you want to edit any of these, you need to go back up here to export. But they're grayed out, but this is what it's doing, okay? So I have export to same folder as original photo. So it doesn't matter what the folder is. Wherever that photo is saved, Lightroom knows to go to that folder. Put in subfolder, finals is what I call it. And then existing files, ask me what to do, blah, blah, blah. I don't rename my files. I just leave them as whatever the file name was. Now, this is the important part. I export them as JPEG. This is very important because they're going on Instagram specifically. Nobody is printing these photos. We're not blowing them up and putting them on a poster. I change quality to 90%. I don't limit the file size. I leave the color space, 8-bit component, blah, blah, blah. And then down here, image sizing is important. Resize to fit along the long edge. I want it 2,160 pixels at a 72 resolution. You don't have to know what this means. Just know that this is what is important for Lightroom. Right here, you can see on this side, I have those written down. I found this information on YouTube. I just watched another YouTube video of somebody that posts Instagram photos that look really good, and they're like, this is what I export my photos as. So I wrote it down. I saved it as a preset in Lightroom so that I don't have to change these every single time. I just click Instagram, and then it pulls them all up. Sharpen for screen. That's important to click because Instagram will, when it compresses your photos, it'll kind of blur them a little bit. You want them a little bit sharper. Sharpen for screen, low. And that's it. No watermark, no metadata, anything. Export. All right. Now you can see up here on the left side, exporting 36 files. It's usually pretty quick, depending on how fast your computer is. Depends on your graphics card RAM. It depends on your RAM for your system. Pretty fast. Now, once those are exported, that bar finishes up here. I am now done with these photos. I have now finished. I just leave them in here in this album until next time I come to edit photos. I will just delete these ones out, not the master delete, not to delete the files from my computer, just deleting them out of the folder. And I'll show you how to do that. I come into here, I've just opened Lightroom again next Sunday, ready to edit photos. Control A on all of them. They're all selected, and I just press backspace. It's removed the photos from this album. And now I'm ready to work in this album again with fresh photos. It didn't do anything to the photos that are saved on my computer. Didn't do anything to the RAWs. It didn't do anything to the exported photos. They're all still exactly where they should be. And if I want to edit them again, I do the same process that I did before. I just open the file folder, drag them in there, and I edit them. That is my Lightroom process. Let's go and look at where the final photos are. I know they're saved on my media drive. I know that they're saved under this folder. I created this folder right here, View 9.7. Here's all my raw photos, and here's all my finals, and I'm ready to deliver these to the client. You can now take these on your computer. You can drop them into a Dropbox. You can drop them into Google Drive. You can drop them into iCloud Shared Album if you want. I drop them into iCloud Shared Album. Yeah, and so you could deliver them to your client however you like. So guys, I hope this showed you what Lightroom is like. I hope this showed you that Lightroom is not as complicated as you think it is. It does have a lot of very advanced features that you don't have to use right away. You don't have, we didn't get into whole crazy stuff like masking and auto AI stuff and all that stuff. We just did basic edits on photos to deliver for a client. And if I had been doing this myself without talking the whole time because I get very distracted, this would have been done in about, it's now about an hour process. So hopefully this makes you a little bit more comfortable with Lightroom. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of idea of my process, my simple process on how I do it. There are other ways to do it. But if you guys like this, please let me know that you like this. Thumbs up this, subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments what you want me to make more videos on next time so that I can explain that to you guys as well. And as I do more and more of these, obviously I'll get better and better at it. But thanks guys for watching. I enjoyed my time with you here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.